These days, games have stunning 3D graphics with realistic water and mountains, or unique art styles like Cuphead or Rayman Legends. But since the simple logic puzzle WORDLE exploded in popularity, I think everyone knows that you don't need that at all to make a fun game. And a few decades ago, text adventures were a hit, so now I'm gonna show you how I made a game without a player character or fancy animations, but instead text, and how I learned some really important things about game design by doing that. Of course, I could just have gone the easy route and make a text adventure. Yes, I would have had to write a story for that, but that wouldn't be that innovative. Plus, I don't think I would be able to write a story for a game. There once was a hero. Then there was a problem. Then he did some stuff and saved the world. Wait, I think I actually can write a story. I could have also cheated and made a normal game and then replaced the graphics with text. But no, I wanted something extremely simple but yet fun. Okay, so I just had a nice idea for the game made only with text. And it is to have a secret the gameplay is basically you have to decipher words and then you have to make a sentence, and the sentence gives a clue how to decipher the words in the next level, and you basically have to find out how to decipher them. And I don't really have any idea how exactly it will work, but I think I will now come up with the different types of deciphering. Sorry to interrupt you, but the rest of this video basically spoils the game completely, so I would really recommend you to play it first. You can play it in browser, link in description. You have been warned, let's continue. While coming up with the different levels, I really tried to bring as much variation in with as little elements as possible. So no magical symbols, combination of colors, Morse code or anything like that. Just text and numbers. But I also applied another really basic game design principle, building up on the things you learned before. So in one level you might have numbers that represent the letters in the alphabet, and in the next you have numbers that represent the letters in the alphabet, but the alphabet is also shifted by one letter, and so on and so forth. This is something even Mario games do in each level. There's a mechanic introduced, and after that the player is presented with a handful of increasingly more difficult challenges with that mechanic, before it is thrown away and there is a new one. But let's see how I'm doing with coming up with ideas for this game. Oh, exactly 10 different riddles. So now let's think about which clues we will give in each level. This brings us to the third important game design principle, showing the player what they need to know. Not more, not less, just enough so the player can figure it out on their own. Information is really what makes a game difficult, not just with games in this genre. Don't believe me? Well, what if in Metroidvania games we would tell the player exactly where the exit is? Or if you could see everything in the level before even pressing play in a jump and run? Would it still be so difficult? I don't think so. And difficulty is really important in games. A is why. Is that really right? I don't even understand my own gaming. Let's just skip ahead, okay. While working on the game, I also found that through limiting myself so much, I focused way more on actual fun levels than the stuff you look at, which actually makes a lot of sense, because sometimes I feel like games try to cover their boring gameplay with nice visuals, exciting stories, and thousands of useless mechanics. I also implemented that no matter if the user types in capital or non-capital letters, it will still recognize the words, and if you type spaces, that also doesn't matter. This is a small improvement, but if the program doesn't understand what you want, it can be really frustrating for the user. I don't know. Oh yeah, the huge grammar mistake. I agree to you, Microsoft Word. I think that A should be non-capital too. What a shame, I'm so bad at grammar. Although I said I don't want to make any fancy graphics in this challenge, I at least improved the visuals a bit, so you can look at them without thinking, wow, this is the first game this person ever made. When making the levels, I had to come up with the clues, and for that I literally had to do what the player has to do in reverse, which was a good way to check if deciphering is too difficult or too easy. Playtesting is really important. Adding the levels in Unity was done pretty quickly, because with the way I coded and everything, it's pretty easy to implement them. By the way, I also added a little Easter egg at the end, so if you can find it, write it in the comments. Okay, so I implemented all the levels now. The only thing I will add is some music and sounds, and then the game will be done. Yeah, about that. I first wanted to add music and sounds to the game, but then I realized that that would destroy the whole point of this challenge. Gameplay that is fun without any polish. I definitely wasn't just lazy, no. I wasn't lazy, no, it was because of the point. You can add as many particles and satisfying sounds as you want. A brick with glitter is still just a brick. It may look nice on the outside, but you can't really do anything with it. A football, on the other hand, is way more fun to play with, even without the glitter. I now published this game on itch.io. I think it's most fun to play with friends, so you can think together. I only worked on it for a few hours, but I still learned a lot about game design. Here's the list. Or rather, the house of cards, because if you remove one part of it, everything breaks. This was the first Gamedev challenge of many, so if you have any ideas for future challenges, whether it's making a game in 10 minutes or making a game with only one color, write it in the comments and maybe you will see it in a future video. I'm Paula, this is Coding Crate, where I code and create games. Good luck.